Wala. Where is what happened?
Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techie Mami, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello, happy Tuesday po. Magandang umaga and welcome po sa ating programa, Buhay Online. Nalito ko ng a few seconds kasi biglang natanggal kasi yung wire ng laptop ko. But anyway, good morning to everyone. Happy Tuesday. And hindi ko naman masasabi, it's not yet a sunny day. Medyo cloudy pa rin dito sa Pampanga. And I think dito sa buong Pilipinas. But umalis na yung bagyo. Thank you very much. Pero of course, patuloy of course tayong lahat nagka-congratulate kay Hedlin sa kanyang pagkapanalo ng gold sa weightlifting sa Japan. Of course, hindi lang to special because it's the very first and one and only Olympic gold medal that the Philippines ever won. Kaya it makes it even more special. So I'd like to welcome sa mga our viewers today to the show. Welcome po. Yan na naman, hindi ko nakikita yung names nyo, but welcome to the show. And good morning to you. Our subject for today, okay, kasi patuloy pa rin natin pinag-uusapan yung distance learning. Kahapon nga, extensively, we talked about particularly yung modular education. Kasi nga, it's an existing thing po dahil sa pagbabalik ng eskwelahan itong school year na to ng 2021, 2022 is ano pa rin tayo, distance learning pa rin po tayo dahil nga ang pag-resume ng klase September 13, ganun pa rin. Hindi pa rin magbabago, wala pa rin face-to-face. So, that's why we've been tackling this issue for the past 2 weeks. Kasi po maraming mga tanong at maraming mga text asking kung, kung nag-improve na yung sistema. Kasi nga, di ba, it was like a testing ground in March 2020 when the schools closed and then nag-transition tayo biglang-bigla sa online learning at saka modular nang hindi prepared. Okay, yun na nga yung pinag-usapan natin for the past few weeks. Hello to everyone who's online. I don't see your names, but welcome to the show. Magandang umaga. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me today. So, yun na nga. Nag-congratulate na tayo sa ating very first ever gold medalist sa Olympics, si Ms. Hedlin. Tsaka of course, yun pa rin, sa lahat ng nangyayari na ito na pandemya, no, some good things are happening naman to us, pero ito pa rin, pinag-usapan pa rin natin yung distance learning. Kasi hindi lang actually, it's not just here in the Philippines that people are having problems dealing with distance learning or online learning or modular learning. Sa ibang bansa rin, because that takes time to transition, di ba? Yung nga, pag-prepare ng materials, ng curriculum, ng mga subject matter, ng mga lessons, it needed time. Pero naman dali lahat. Pero ngayon, more than a year into the pandemic and no face-to-face classes, dapat pulido na, right? Mag 2 years na nga, July na ngayon, more than half of 2021 is already gone. At saka magpapasok na nga ulit sa September. Sana, okay, ayos na yung mga printed materials ng mga modules, tsaka yung kagaya ng pinag-usapan namin kahapon, sana yung DepEd kinonsider nila na iba talaga, there's such a vast difference between face-to-face learning materials and the online at saka yung modular printed materials. Yun nga sa binibigay na work sa mga bata, kahapon pinag-usapan natin, may mga guest pa nga tayo na actual nagla-lesson ng modulars. Pinag-usapan natin yung mga problema hinaharap nila, like whether it's online or modular, there's just too much work being given to the kids, to the students, right? Ayusin niyo naman yung mga materials. I mean, don't give them too much to chew on na and that they're left on their own to deal with it. Kasi nga, whether it's online or modular, some homes, some families don't have the luxury of time to spend teaching their children or monitoring their kids, lalo na yung mga malalaking bata. Siyempre, yung maliliit na bata, yun, sila nag-enjoy sila sa online learning or sa modular. Lalo na yung mga bata na parang naglalaro lang sa computer tsaka sa kanilang tablets. Doon, yung online learning is a bit effective because it's like playtime. But then for I'm not gonna say naman more serious studies or parang nga doon sa mga nag-aaral na extensive na yung homework tsaka yung activity sheets na binibigay or yung tasks, ano naman kayo, ease down on it. Don't give them too much for them na hindi mahahandle na kaya nga it resorts to cheating, it resorts to magulang na gumagawa or other people. Alright? Kagaya nga ng module na sinabi natin kahapon, kala ko 8 modules a week. Yung pala, sometimes they're given more than that. And then each module pa has like between 3 to 5 to more tasks or activities that are being done in each module. Ano naman, ease upon them naman. Bawas-bawasan nyo naman. Itama nyo lang. Pati rin yung mga homework at saka tasks ng online. Kasi wala namang face-to-face encounters and sometimes nga hindi pa wala pa rin yung teacher like virtually, like they only meet like once or twice a week. They see the teachers more often than not. It's already work that's being given to them, homework na or projects to do on their own. So yun ulit, please ease up on the activities, ease up on the projects, ease up on the homework na binibigay niya sa mga estudyante. Kasi para wag naman silang ma-overwhelm. Kasi itong past year na nag-aral ng distance learning, madaming na-stress ng mga estudyante. At hindi lang estudyante, ang magulang sobra na-stress because we are left to be the teachers. Hindi na nga second teacher, tayo na yung first teacher. Dahil tayo yung kasama sa bahay, right? It brought about a lot of stresses and it affected people mentally, right? And we talked about that. See? But how do we safeguard students' mental health while learning from home? Okay, all right. I was able to research some material on that. Paano nga ba, di ba? Kasi nga drastically affected talaga ng pandemic ang education sector. Tanggapin na natin to. Ayan ang totoong reality. It is an area where students have been subjected to learning from home while an increased level of uncertainty has continually rocked their own lives. Kung talaga nga hindi lahat sigurado kailan magtatapos ito. Everything, all those things looming in the minds of our children and of course sa ating lahat. This raises its own questions. For example, can teachers effectively safeguard their students' mental health while they're learning from home? Mukhang hindi nga di ba? Kaya nga, nagkaroon tuloy ng focus on mental health. Kagaya na sinabi ko sa inyo, yung email na pinadala sa akin ng Ateneo, saying that a lot of the stuff that some part of the tuition that we're going to be paying for will go towards the mental wellness of the students. Tsaka yun na nga, yung training, online training pa ng mga teachers. So yun, because talaga naman, naapektuhan talaga psychologically and mentally maraming tao. Hindi lang estudyante, pati magulang. Siguro teachers na rin, okay? Alright. Okay? But how do we safeguard our students' mental health? Okay? Okay, let's consider the influences. It's no secret na ang mga students do their best work when they can fully concentrate, diba, sa kanilang education. But thanks nga, because of the various lockdowns and learning from home, itong trends na, this tends to be a lot easier said than done kasi nga, ang daming distractions, right? There's a huge number of home-made distractions, home-based distractions to account for now, okay? Kaya nga, however, certain schools believe that taking a holistic approach to mental health, considering the additional stressors na hinaharap ng mga nag-aaral. This could make a big difference, helping create informed lesson structures. Yun na nga, nasa sa material na binibigay rin yan, that are sympathetic to each individual. Kaya nga nag-call out ako, nag-shout out ako nung umpisa ng show na yung mga ating mga eskwela, ating mga guro, please yung materials na pinagagawa natin or yung mga projects or yung mga activities, mga tasks, please make it be a little bit sympathetic, okay, to the students and what they're going through having to study from home. Diba? Bigyan nyo din konsiderasyon. Kahit yung sarili nyo, alam ko malaking trabaho talaga yon na ibahin yung lesson plan. That's an entirely really big project that yun na nga because sa pagmamadali na overlook or hindi nagawang mabuti. Pero at least by now, of course, almost 2 years into this pandemic, sana na at saka yun na nga sa binabayad na tuition going towards those training and transitioning of materials, sana okay na lahat, right? So how do we safeguard our children's mental health while they're learning from home? Okay, sige, ayan muna ang i-tackle natin today. Okay? Ang unang-una natin pwedeng gawin is pay attention to overall well-being. Okay? While it may be easy to tell if a child is suffering in person, well, actually, it's not. Because sometimes it's not easy. Hindi mo alam what your child is going through. Hindi mo alam yung kanyang stress sa pandemic na ito. Kaya nga, it's importante na mag-communicate, right? Importante ay kamustahin natin yung ating mga anak from time to time kung how they are coping dito sa pagdi-distance learning, right? Kasi nga, because of the virtual environment that they're in, tsaka yung, yan, hindi face-to-face, whether it's basta distance learning, it's hard for us to tell kung meron silang dinaramdam or if they have concerns. Tsaka yun na nga, like we talked about yesterday, sana the teachers make themselves available and accessible, especially sa online din. Because hindi mo na nga na in person, di ba? Sana accessible pa rin sila kahit online. Because like yesterday, yung guest ko nga, he was saying na mga magulang niya, wala pa sa bahay para turuan siya. He is left to fend for himself, to find answers. Where? Of course, on the internet. Mabuti kung may internet, kung wala, right? At nagmo-module ka. See, the students are left on their own pretty much. So it's not just an honor system. It's a matter of mindset. It's a matter of their commitment to studying. Yun eh. Pero nga, because of the distractions around them sa paligid nila, hindi mo sila masisi na mag-backslide sa pag-aaral, right? It's important, therefore, for teachers to keep this in mind na huwag i-overwhelm masyado yung kanilang mga mag-aaral sa dami ng binibigay na projects, sa dami ng tasks, sa dami ng homework. More than ever, kasi many studies have demonstrated a huge spike in lockdown-based domestic violence incidents. Pati yan, yun nga, domestic violence, o kaya yun nagkakainisan na, nagkakainitan na sa bahay because doon nag-aaral, doon nagtatrabaho, doon everything, right? There's a lot of stress na connected to that, right? Pati sa Amerika, yung child tsaka sexual abuse na nangyayari tuloy dahil sa mga lockdown. Di ba, alam niyo naman, kung masasabihin, dami kasing weirdo. Pero and plus, not for anything then, because yung involvement nila or yung patuloy na paggamit ng internet tsaka ng social media, it brings about then these things like sexual harassment or yung mga cyber sex na yan or abuse online din dahil sa mga distractions na yan or yung access to these things, okay? Because nga the students don't have the everyday interaction with their teachers or with their colleagues to discuss kung may nangyayari sa kanilang masama online, wala, they're left to deal with it themselves, okay? So pay attention to overall well-being. Ayan ang importante, how we can help our students who are studying, who are doing distance learning, okay? Ano pa? Stay up to date. Kailangan, although it's important to focus on practical issues, one of the simplest ways to safeguard your pupils' mental well-being is to simply stay up to date on current advice, okay? Uh, Consider accessing mga resources, tsaka yun na nga, kung meron kayong guidance counselor sa school, dapat yung tina-text naman nila yung estudyante, minsan para kamustahin, right? Mahirap man gumawa ng weekly updates, pero but they have to consistently and regularly check naman on their students, right? Right? Using these materials or information from your mga counselors to stay informed could not only give you ideas on how to create more personalized and engaging online classes, but also it will teach you new ways to bolster the mental health of your students. Okay? So, dapat may update tayo regularly para nakakatulong din yan sa psyche ng mga ating nag-long distance learning. Right? Tapos pa, be prepared to deal with loss. As sad as it is to say, okay, with the death rate now into the millions, many of us will experience some form of loss before the pandemic is over. As such, it's important to prepare yourself in advance to deal with any bereavement issue should it arise. Actually, figurative yan eh. Hindi lang sa, well, ako physically and personally have about 5 friends who have died from COVID. Some people do not even know anybody that had COVID. But for those that have a personal take on this, like me, this is something very serious and very to my heart because nga, people that I know who are close to me have died from COVID in the past year. So, yung mga ibang tao naman, ano pinapagluksa nila is the death of their old normal. Yun eh. Marami nagsasalk because nalulungkot sila sa na the things that they did before hindi na nila magawa ngayon. It's pagluluksa sa old life nila of luxury and whatever or leisure that they cannot enjoy now. And that's what they're grieving about. But we have to be prepared for these losses because we have to move on from this, right? So the teachers, okay, of course, the schools can best support students who are dealing with loss, stating that the effects of teacher response should not be underestimated. Kaya nga, importante rin sa mga teachers na tulungan yung mga estudyante nila magbago ng mindset, mag-move on from their losses, okay? Moreover, some head teachers have come out to say that any staff members currently, pati yung mga staff nila na nag-experience ng loss, they themselves should consider using their own emotions, diba? As a way to teach pupils that it's okay to be sad. Yun na nga, nasa sa teacher na rin yun. Kung meron silang personal account ng mga nangyari tungkol sa pandemya, they just have to let their students know that it is okay to be sad, that it's okay na magluksa tungkol sa mga bagay na nawala sa iyo ditong pandemya. Kasi in doing this, they could encourage an open conversation around emotional well-being, allowing students to develop a healthier response to their mental health concerns, okay? Habang nagpapatuloy pa ang pandemya at ang effect nito sa buong mundo, okay, there's no doubt that teachers will have to adapt to ensure that student education doesn't suffer, okay? In light of the changing environment, this could be a lot easier said than done. Talaga nga, kasi nagsastruggle ba rin tayo ngayon? But then, yun na nga, we have to consider our students' psychological makeup at saka ang effect nito sa kanila. Okay? So, para sa mga guro, adapt your teaching style, consider the situations faced by the pupils, and remaining well-informed para masabi niya sa kanilang kung anong currently nangyayari, kung anong kondisyon. This is the best way to move forward. It's going to give you the best chance of protecting your students' mental health while they remain learning at home. At saka sa sarili na rin, no? So, please, yun lang yung mga sasabi ko tungkol dyan, right? Right, and in connection to that, okay, like sinabi natin kahapon, yun na nga, kasi yung nakakapagod din mag-aral online, right? Tapos kasi nga yung lack of interaction and social isolation, dapat yung ipalaman sa kanila na hindi naman kailangan mawala yung kanilang social interaction just because they're not going to school. Pero of course, doon sa mga nagmo-modular, of course, may mga cellphone din naman yung mga yon. So they can still keep in touch with their friends. Yun na nga yung sinabi kahapon, yung GC, group chat, meron naman mga group chats, may mga, ano naman, may mga means naman tayo to keep in touch with our friends and relatives, right? Nakapag-receive ako ng message from Smart. Ano daw? So, Olympics. Okay. All right. Kasi even the adults, okay, feel the empty void when they don't get to see their friends, right? So, pati young adults need social interaction. So do adults, right? So, in this case, of course, we use technology to bridge this gap between socializing or meeting our friends and relatives or seeing them. Salamat sa technology, we are able to do that. At saka most people naman have cell phones already, di ba? I mean, really. So, mahirap lang nga talaga mag-aral, kunyari online kung cellphone mo lang ang gamit. Pero you can use that, of course, to have social interaction, okay? Kasi in the traditional classroom setup, students follow a routine, di ba? A schedule. Pero because pag nag-online ka or modular, flexible na ang schedule mo. Pero like we said, pati magulang, ang mental health ng magulang naapektuhan din. Right? Because it doesn't only affect the students talaga, but parents as well because of the added responsibility. Alright? So, okay, tapos na tayo dun sa issue na yon. Alright? So, which brings us to the issue naman of technology again, right? Because technology, of course, plays such a big role in people's lives nowadays. Even more so nga dahil sa pandemic na ito, right? Because dahil sa pandemic na to, just imagine nyo na lang kung walang internet at nangyari itong pandemic na to, di ba? Lalong nakakasira ng ulo, right? Lalong yung mental health affected, right? So, kaya lang, di ba, are we all so dependent na on technology, right? Well, technology in the classroom, remote learning during COVID-19 and beyond. Yeah, that's something we cannot foresee pa, right? Tech adoption in the classroom has increased, di ba, over the past 2 decades. Kasi nga, lahat yan, interactive whiteboards, mga tablets and laptops have all but replaced the chalkboard, textbooks, and clunky desktop computers of the traditional classroom. Pero now in the middle of a global pandemic, technology has assumed an even greater role. Hindi lang sa education of our kids, right? But sa trabaho, sa lahat, sa buhay. Pero doon sa mga nag-aaral nga, at the height of the COVID-19 outbreak, over 1.5 billion children across the world were taken out of the classroom because of school closures, which in turn forced the widespread adoption of remote teaching technologies and the suspension of in-person instruction. Okay. There are serious doubts that education will ever return to what it was. Pinag-usapan na natin yan eh. Di ba may plano naman talaga na kung matapos na itong pandemic na to, baka blended education na, blended learning ang tawag doon. Wherein, some days, online ang pag-aaral, some days sa eskwelahan. Pero yun na nga, just yung pag ginawa nila yun, dapat bawasan nila yung tuition. Kasi, di ba, hindi naman papasok araw-araw sa eskwela. Sana, right? But one thing's for sure, whether classrooms are set to permanently reopen or whether a more hybrid online in-person approach will become the new normal, technology will be at the center of this experience. Talaga naman eh. Talaga. But have we become so dependent on technology? Well, sort of, di ba, na talaga nakadepend tayo sa technology. Pero wala tayong magagawa. Computers were invented years ago. And due to their ability to be able to perform various tasks, they have been highly put to use by human beings. Sobra talaga. Like me, I'm guilty of the fact that, yan kaya nga, di ba, buhay online. My buhay is online. Practically 24/7, I'm online because it's the nature of my work. it's how I've lived for the past more than 30 years, using technology to my advantage. Kagaya ng sinasabi ko pa noon nung may column pa ako sa Manila Bulletin na Techie Mommy Talks. Talaga, you use technology to make it work for you, not against you. Because there are a lot. We already tackled that. Mayroong mga do's and don'ts, pros and cons about technology. But more than anything, it's more advantageous talaga sa buhay natin ng technology. Computers were invented years ago, but to perform a variety of tasks. Computers make life easier. Of course, dapat nating alam yun by now. And due to this, they have increasingly been put to use and easily found their way into the lives of millions of people. There are various reasons that led to computers being put to maximum use by people. Diba? This is because they enable people to do their work while at home. People are able to socialize with those they have never met and also contact friends and relatives who are living far away. Diba? Yun na nga. Kaya rin ako na ano dyan talaga because I was in America pa nung 80s, right? And I was missing my family so much in the Philippines. When I migrated to America in the early 80s, I was missing my family so much. Bata pa lang ako, techie na ako talaga eh. Kasi I really, lumaki ako talaga naglalaro ng mga, ng Nintendo, ng everything. I would go to the game rooms and play. But anyway, when I was in America, yun na nga, I joined yung mga chat relays, yung mga perch pa, MIRC. And I found a way, of course, tsaka yung pag-email. That was the only way I could bridge the gap of my loneliness of feeling homesick because pumunta ako sa States, nag-aral, nagtrabaho, nabuhay doon. Nami-miss ko yung family ko. So that was the only way I could also interact with my friends through chatting, right? And technology na yun. So, and that was a way to deal with the loneliness of being away from the Philippines, right? Because nga, as humans continue to use computers, they get addicted to them. Totoo yan. And they're unable to lead lives without computers. Pwede ko ba sabihin na pwede ako mabuhay ng walang computer? Hindi yata. I would be such a hypocrite if I told you I can live without computers or a cell phone or internet. I don't think I can do that right now. Pero syempre, there are times when I feel na, I want to take a break from all this by going on in an island na para lang mag-relax at mag-devoid my mind of anything that's work. Pero yun, pag nagpunta ka sa resort, hanapin mo kagad may wifi ba, malakas ba signal. It's really hard to get out of it, di ba? Anyway, kamustahin natin yung mga nanonood. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you. Of course, I'd like to welcome Tita Agnes, welcome to the show, and Tita Heidi, nanonood, si Dax. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Salamat sa patuloy niyong pagtangkilik. Pinapag-usapan lang po natin ang technology. Kagaya niyan, di ba yung ating mga old elders ay lahat nagiging sapilitang tech savvy because they have to deal with the times, right? Mga lolas have cell phones and they have to, especially in pandemic, that's the only way they see their relatives too, by going on video calls, right? So dapat natuto. Yung daddy ko, nawala na yung daddy ko, hindi pa natututong mag-text o ayaw niya kasi. My God, through the years, ang best ko nang binigyan ng cellphone, binigyan ng laptop, binigyan ng tablet, ayaw gamitin. He just stuck to his crossword puzzle. Gusto niya nagko-crossword at magbasa ng physical dyaryo. Ayun ang daddy ko. To the very last, he was still doing crossword puzzles and reading the newspaper. Hindi sa internet, right? Old school. God rest his soul. But anyway, so going back to what I was saying that people were able to socialize with those they've never met. Diba? The world today depends heavily on computers. And this dependence has both positive and negative impacts, okay? Most people's lives depend and revolve around computers or the internet. Computers have many benefits, but these benefits also come with negative effects. Talaga naman, may pros and cons. And various arguments have risen against computers, and researchers claim that computers are having negative effects on children. According to professional essay writers sa confidentwriters.com, the rate of literacy is rising than it was before because students no longer write their assignments. Yun na nga kasi. There's things like Grammarly, anong araw yung word check or sa word, sine-check na nila yung ano mo, grammar and all. Pero there's stuff like, there's apps now to really, really correct your grammar or fix your writing for you. So, tumaas ang literacy rate kasi hindi sila nagsusulat. Haha. They use the computers to carry out research and work on their assignments. And this discourages learning. Totoo naman. Gumagaling kunyari magsulat pero hindi naman galing sa kanila yun. Nasa app. Siya na yung app na yung nagsusulat para sa kanila. This increases the level of illiteracy actually because learners are deterred from thinking independently. Inasa na lang cut and paste. Pero syempre, andyan dyan yung mga plagiarism naman. This kills creativity because everything they do is copied, okay? This might be a small issue to older learners, but younger learners who are practicing on how to read and write will have difficulties, diba? When it comes to spelling, young learners will not have any idea on how to spell because they are used to the computer which spells it for them. Di ba kinokorek nga nag-green light na yun o nag-red na yun na line pag mali yung word mo or wrong grammar ka or wrong spelling wrong. Kaya nga, hindi natututo mag-spell tuloy talaga kasi inasa lahat sa app. It is important to note that small spellings become difficult for younger learners to memorize. If they did it in writing, it would be easier for them to remember. Totoo. Kaya nga yung face-to-face schooling, mabuti talaga sinusulat yung mga words para naatatandaan eh. Okay? These factors are on the rise and it is recommended for computers to be reserved for older learners. Assignments that are long, diba, cannot be written by hand and for special computer classes. Oh, kapitbahay ko yun. Cases of obsession to computers have also been on the rise. Marami naman talagang addicted. Hindi lang kasi sa addicted sa pagre-research, addicted sa pag-google, addicted sa ng information. I'm guilty of that because, talaga, like I said, 24/7 na akong nakatutok sa internet, naghahanap ng materials, nagbabasa, nag-aaral, nagtatrabaho. And if that's an addiction, I'm addicted to working. All right. But people have gotten used to computers and it has reached a time that they cannot do without them. Talaga naman, most people, yun na lang ng cellphone, di ba? Yung mga ibang tao, hindi mo matanggal sa kamay nila yun o yung mata nila sa cellphone o nakatungo sila. Di ba? Ang scenario nga ngayon talaga pag may party, o yan sa bahay, di ba? O yan, tingnan nyo. Yan, tingnan mo. Nakatutok sa cellphone. Yan. Ayan ang life na yun. Ganyan lahat. Pati pag may mga parties, imbes magkwentuhan, nakatingin sa cellphone. And that's the thing, because that's technology being in our lives, right? Ganyan na talaga ganun talaga ang nangyayari. Like, pagka nasa isa kang gathering, imbes na magkwentuhan, lahat nakatungo kasi nagte-text or nanonood ng Netflix o ewan ko ba. But then, see, technology talaga has greatly affected all of us, right? But a lot naman in good ways, okay? Pero yun na nga, meron ng cons, okay? Computers make life easier. All right, people are able to chat with others online, shop online, and even play games. All these activities naman can lead to obsession if a person is not careful. Totoo. Too much of anything is poison, di ba? Paulit-ulit naman yung premise na yan. The cyber world is not a real world, people. it is important for people to associate more with the real world than the cyber world. Kaya ngayon, buong araw, pagising, nakatingin na sa cellphone, right? Buong araw, cellphone. O, hindi na lang kung magkwento, mas marami pa nga yata yung times na ano for my own self rin talaga, hindi kami halos nag-uusap masyado sa bahay dahil, because most of the people are busy and ako, I'm working all day. Siguro pag mag-ano na lang kami, pag nagmi-meet kami sa dining room. Diyan kami nakakapag-usap ng aking family, my immediate family, you know, my partner and then ang aming mga anak. Doon na kami nakakapag-usap pagkakain na kami. But other than that, all day long, yun, cellphone, internet, right? So that is how internet has affected many people all over the world. The cyber world is not the real world, okay? Children should not be allowed to spend all day on their computers. Hello, Jenny. To spend all day on their computers playing computer games. Instead, they should be sent outside and play with other children, okay? Yun na nga, recently, binili ko ng bisikleta yung anak ko para labas-labas naman, para maarawan at mag-bike kasi nakakulong. Wala nang bakasyon ngayon, wala nang aral, wala nang eskwela. So, I want him naman to go out and smell the coffee at mag-bike. Buti na yung mga kapitbahay namin ito nagbabike. So, at least meron siyang kasama mag-bike. At ngayon, nandito na si Buknoy sa amin. Mamasyal-masyal sila because hindi dapat laging naka-computer lang, naka-cellphone lang, nakatungo, di ba? This will help reduce or prevent computer obsession, right? Apart from obsession, okay, other things that arise due to much use of computers, yun na nga, is laziness, katamaran, yun na nga, mag-gain ng weight, tsaka of course, it's a strain on the eyes, right? Mapapagod ang mata nyo. Children who are used to computers would not want to participate in any other activity because they do not find it interesting. Kaya nga, Diyos ko, bago mahilain para lumakad o lumabas, I have to sometimes we have to bribe pa our kids to say, sige, bibili kita ng ganito, labas tayo, blah, blah, blah. But shouldn't be the case, right? Because children who are used to computers too much become lazy to go out, to participate in other activities, to see their friends or family. Because they have friends, virtual friends who they talk to doon sa, sa computer, sa cellphone. Kasi yun ang interesting sa kanila. They may end up being obese because they spend all their free time indoors and on their computers. Strained eyes is another disadvantage of too much computer use. People who overuse the computer have difficulties with seeing letters. They have to strain their eyes in order to see them. They may lead to visual impairment if too much use of the computers is not stopped. Lalabong mata mo, yun na, mahihirapan ka magbasa. Alright? So please, watch out for those signs, okay? Ng computer obsession. That the issue that should be put into consideration when it comes to the use of computers is the safety of personal information. Ayan na nga, Diyos mio. Imagine, of course, because aside from doing my social media and digital content writing and my trainings, of course, I teach, diba? I teach. And I teach English online for an international firm. And then one of the teachers recently, technology to talaga. And hindi lang ito nowadays, ang daming nag-ano na naman, identity theft, right? My friend, si Chuchay Pagdilaw, asawa ni General Pagdilaw, hinak yung account niya and it was on Facebook and Messenger. She was messaging her relatives, her friends, borrowing money. Unang-una, yung taong yun hindi kailangan mag-borrow ng money. Pero it was really, really strange because ang daming nagpahiram sa kanya because sinabi ng tao na yun na she was in an emergency, whatever. She messaged kung pwedeng pahiram ng. So may mga naloko, right? But it was not her. Somebody hacked her Facebook account, sought her friends and sent them messages asking for a loan na successful naman yung iba. Pero yun na nga, she caught it in the nick of time at least. So because she couldn't enter her Facebook account because somebody already assumed her identity. Going back naman to the teacher, ganon sa co-teacher ko sa online English, kasi ang mga online English schools, may sasabihin ako sa inyo, ano sila because they're all encouraging teachers as much as millions of students all over the world are learning English, whether it's in China, Korea, Japan, whatever. So, meron silang mga promo program na pag nag-refer ka ng teacher at naging successful teacher, meron kang referral fee. So, may mga taong ganyan sasabihin, oh, give my email address para ako yung referral by ako nag-refer sa school na to. Anyway, this particular teacher said that she was referred by a certain person. All of a sudden, tong certain person na nag-refer sa kanya, yun pa ang nag-hack ng account niya kasi because siya yung naging parang mentor niya dito sa school namin. Tinrush niya yung tao na yun. So one day, hiningi ng tao ulit yung kanya information. Sabi niya, uy, nag-iiba na ng programa tong ating school. They need your information again. So give me your email address and your cell phone number and your basta-basta personal information. So that person ended up assuming her identity, hindi na rin siya makapasok dito sa school as a teacher because kinuha ng tao na yun yung kanyang password and all that na binigay naman niya. So hindi na siya makaturo. Ito na yung nagtuturo at saka yung mga referral fee na napunta din sa tao na to. Basta anyway, it's very, very difficult. Like I said, technology can be a dangerous place. The internet can be a dangerous place if you don't pay attention to, or if you're not mindful. There are a lot of cyber criminals out there banking on getting your information so that they can use it for their own sake. They can apply loans. They can make loans sa personal sa mga tao. At the same time, even apply for jobs using your identity. So please never give your information because companies will never ask for your bank account details unless they're a company that you work for. Okay? Na kailangan nilang i-transfer yung sweldo mo sa bangko mo. Pero if other people biglang nag-email sa'yo o nag-messenger sa'yo, pakibigay mo nga sa akin yung even your cellphone number or kasi di ba nakasync ngayon lahat because of the cloud. Our things are synced. Our cell phone, our tablets, our computers are synced. Sometimes tayo naman nagsisync nun. So makukuha nila lahat yung information na yan. So please be careful. It's called tsaka phishing. Yung phishing na yan is a criminal is a cybercrime, phishing with a PHISING. This is when people disguise they mask their IP addresses. Minsan ginagamit nila yung mga kilalang companies like Amazon or yung SM mismo or yung Shell, kasusulat sila sa email. Sasabihin, oy, nanalo ka ng ganito or hinahire ka ng ganito, kailangan namin yung information mo. Please, do not ever give your information out sa social media or sa internet because they will, more often than not, they will really hack your account to steal your information so that they can use it for their own gain. Okay? So, the issue that should be put into consideration when it comes to the use of computers is the safety of personal information. It is good to share information through computers, but there's no guarantee that the information is safe. Pag pinakawala mo yung personal information mo, may risk yan. Okay? This personal information includes addresses, full names, phone numbers, and other personal details. Lalo ng bank details, please. Wag na wag. Too much dependence on computers has led to people being comfortable, being complacent, na kampante masyado, right? And trust that their information is safe in the computers? No, actually on the contrary, right? Almost everywhere in the world, people use computers. Okay, the use of smart cards is computerized. Traffic lights are computerized. Bank doors, manufacturing companies have robots that are run by computers. When these computers or the internet fail, it means everything will come to a stop, right? Or a standstill. Over-reliance on computers has led to the smallest thing that can be performed without a computer has been computerized. Kaya nga, di ba yung autonomous cars na nagawa ng Tesla, driverless cars, ako hindi ko talaga yun pwede. Even if I had the money to buy it, I will not. Because I can't rely my life on a computer or a robot or AI. Kasi yun nga, pag nag-malfunction yung computer, paano yun? Hinto na lang yung sasakyan sa gitna ng cliff or itatalon yung kotse mo sa bangin. Scary, magwalang driverless car. I cannot rely my life in a computer, right? Kasi nga, when these computers or the internet fails, it means everything will come to a stop. That's why over-reliance on computers has led to the smallest thing that can be performed without a computer. Okay? The United States of America is one of the nations that have almost everything running by the help of computers. Totoo. From homes to public places, from public places to the security of the country. The military depends on computers to detect threats from external forces, and they use these computers to curb those threats. What may happen if all the computers fail? Diba? It means everything in America will shut down and will come to a standstill. Scary, diba? And the nation will be vulnerable to attacks. Kaya nga, conclusively, di ba, ang computers are very important in the lives of humans. Totoo naman. But it is essential to reduce overdependence. People should try to and reduce the overuse of computers because despite them making life easier, they have as many disadvantages as advantages. It may be difficult for people to know that they are too much dependent on computers, but with time they should realize that it can be potentially dangerous to be addicted. Okay? So dapat natin talagang ingatan yung ating pagiging dependent sa computer. Although mahirap gawin na tanggalin sa buhay natin kasi nakakatulong din ng malaki. Una-una rin, yun nga, sa sanity ng tao. Kung wala kang computer, wala kang cellphone, itong pandemya na to, it's really gonna be horrible for you. But, do not become too dependent on computers, right? Hello, dun sa kakapasok lang to join us today. I don't see the names. It doesn't come up. So, hindi ako makapag-shoutout sa inyo. But I'd like to thank all those people who came today and to watch the show and be with me and be with us, right? Pasensya na dahil hindi na naman gumagana. Kahapon lang gumana ako tuwan-tuwa. Nakikita ko lahat ng nagsasalita. Pero ngayon hindi na naman. Nakatenga lang. But see, we're still on the subject of talking about are we too dependent on computers? Are we too dependent on technology? Well, I think the answer is yes. This is an internet-based society now, wherein we rely a lot with the internet. Okay? Meron pa tayong time. Okay? Meron nagpadala sa akin ng text saying na paano naman, okay, paano yung mga nawala ng work dahil sa pandemya? How do they cope with that? Using technology to help them find work, right? Well, I can say something, okay? Based on a Forbes article, okay, last April 2021, millions of moms, okay, left work in 2020. Can tech startups help families at the brink? Well, technology, okay? Tingnan nyo tong kawawang ano na to. Ano pala, cute. This is a cute photo that really actually speaks for itself regarding what's happening nowadays in the homes of people. Alright. Hindi na nga, ikakat ko lang. Alright. I will just put this, okay, and then, hold on please, just bear with me. I'm just gonna grab this a little bit. Okay, there you go. So, okay, oops. There you go. I'm just gonna get it, okay? Just please bear with me. Napakita ko lang tong cute graphic na talagang nag-a-apply naman sa pinag-uusapan natin ngayon. Alright? There you go. Ayan. Diba? Ano ko lang to, See there, oh? We're talking about moms that lost their jobs, okay, in this pandemic. So nowadays, there are a lot of, hindi naman a lot, pero there are some opportunities online that that not only moms but anybody looking for work can do, right? Yun naman ang cute, right? Yung mami nagtatrabaho, yung anak naglalaro ng tablet. Oh, ganun naman ngayon yung mga scenario, right? So what about the moms that lost their jobs in 2020? Over the past year, Over the past year, COVID has had an immense impact on families everywhere, right? This pandemic has been particularly difficult for the tens of millions of families with young kids where all parents are working, which is true of more families than ever before. Especially yung mga nanay, right? Mothers especially have been disproportionately affected. Talaga naman. COVID-19 has reversed decades of progress for women on the work front, with women losing 5.4 million jobs. Since the onset of the pandemic, the percentage of women in the workforce is the lowest it's been since 1988, according to the National Women's Law Center. Mothers have turned down promotions, reported higher stress levels and less job flexibility, and have left their jobs to care for their children. Ayun nga ang nangyari dyan. Because lalo na sa Pilipinas, nung nag-lockdown, kasi nga, ah, nasa bahay na nasa bahay na yung mga anak, tapos yung mga tatay, work from home din sila, di ba? So, lahat nasa bahay. Ako rin, yung mga estudyante ko na mga Japanese na sabi na, oh my gosh, I have to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for my husband and my children. Na-stress na talaga sila. Eh, dati siyang nag-work. O, dito sa Pilipinas, yun na nga. People have left their jobs to full-time take care of their families who are staying home every day. So, nawalan tuloy ng trabaho. Tsaka yung productivity ng nanay, yung na-confine na sa pag-alaga ng pamilya niya ulit. Because that's true. 5.4 million jobs were affected by the pandemic na ang babae nagtatrabaho. Yan ang survey nitong Forbes. Okay? There's been so much written about this problem. If you're reading this as if you're listening to me as a parent, especially a mom, you get what I mean, right? I know. Kasi as a mom of a kid of a 19-year-old boy, it's not easy to deal with a pandemic. But then, where there's a major trend and severe pain point, there's a massive opportunity to build and fund technology companies to solve it. Where are the startups serving families, saving their productivity and their sanity? They're starting to emerge, okay? And there's a huge opportunity to build and fund new companies in this category. Sa Amerika, maganda yan. Tawag doon, FamTech. Okay? Here are a few of the major gaps in the market, highlighting opportunities for innovation. Sabihin natin kung paano. Managing the mental load. Ito yung paano yung mga paraan na gagawin para makatulong sa mga nawalan ng trabaho. Mental load is the behind-the-scenes work of household management. It's the organization, planning, and execution of how things get done at home. From booking doctor's appointments, to remembering important dates, to planning transportation and childcare. The mental load is a heavy burden, di ba? Kung paano mo organize yung schedule mo. The mental load is a heavy burden. And it's often because of this burden, not because of work, that women are leaving the workforce in droves. The mental load that parents bear on a daily basis, as explained by Dr. Lauren Knickerbocker of New York University's Langone, often leads to anong nangyari? Resentment, burnout, tsaka frayed patience, especially when it is outside of others' awareness or shared responsibility. With over 30 million families sa US with children and at least one working parent, ang mga startups that help parents handle mental load will have a tremendous market opportunity in front of them, okay? This can include offerings like scheduling, delegating tasks. Sana all, no? Sana sa Pilipinas, isip nila na magtayo ng ganon para tumulong sa mga na-displaced na mga nanay na hindi maka-work dahil nga nasa bahay ang kanyang asawa at saka mga anak. Doon ang kanyang 24/7 job starts round the clock. Kawawa naman talaga. So this mental load will help, delegating tasks or or scheduling or giving management tools to help online and share the often invisible work of the mental load. There is some early startup funding in this space. Mabuti yan. Sa Amerika, nakakuha sila ng funding to start up such a thing. Okay? Dapat sana sa Pilipinas din magkaroon ng ganon, no? Para tulong sa mga nanay na na-displace. The children crisis in America was well documented before the COVID, okay? When childcare was already unaffordable for 63% of parents. Then, nung nangyari yung pandemya, it required parents everywhere to balance childcare and schooling on top of other professional and domestic responsibilities, quickly exposing the severe inadequacies of traditional childcare models. Consequently, the opportunity for creative care models has never been more obvious. Okay? Traditional childcare is one of family tech's concern. So, yun na nga. Dahil hindi ka makatrabaho ng mahusay, so, gamitin mo yung technology para maging convenient sa'yo. Ma-balance o mapag-juggle-juggle mo yung pag-asikaso sa bahay mo, asikaso sa sarili mong buhay na trabaho, and let technology help you do that. Okay? Kasi nga, because of the pandemic, more hours of the day are devoted to working ng nanay. Like I said nga because nasa bahay ang asawa mo, work from home, yung mga anak mo, walang face-to-face schooling kasi nga sarado. So, anong gagawin mo ngayon, okay? Dadagdagan mo yung oras mo ng pagtatrabaho para sa kanila. Like I said, for me, it's almost 24 hours in anyone's day. Okay? But, pero dapat natin yan intindihan na dapat natin i-manage yung time natin mga nanay, right? Para wag tayong mabaliw-baliw naman sa pag-asikaso. Okay? Anyway, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it's already almost time to go. So, of course, bukas na lang natin itutuloy itong pag-uusapan natin tungkol sa mga mommies na naapektuhan and how they can make technology help them and work for them in this pandemic. Okay? Are we too dependent on computers? The answer is yes. Yes, we are. And I am guilty. Mega guilty about this. But tomorrow, patuloy natin pag-uusapan yung dependency sa computers or yung mga trabahong naapektuhan ng pandemya, lalo na sa mga nanay na nag-work, and how they can cope with this. And then we'll also be going to be giving again examples of jobs that they can do online or while this pandemic is here. Okay? So maraming salamat sa mga tumutok sa ating programa today. And of course, like I always say, those who missed our live stream episodes today or any given hour dito sa Broad Streamcast Communicators, mangyari po lamang na puntahan niyo po kami sa aming YouTube channel ng Broad Streamcast Communicators because we're already on YouTube. You can watch past episodes there po at balikan yung mga na-miss nyo ng aming mga programa starting from 7 o'clock in the morning hanggang 12 ng gabi. Ay meron po kaming balita at informasyon na ibibigay sa inyo. Thank you so much for joining me today. We were on the subject of technology and of course we still broached dinaanan pa rin natin yung distance learning kasi nga yan ang issue natin ngayon. At of course, yung tungkol sa mga mommies that are affected by the pandemic and their jobs and what they have to do and what they can do. Patuloy po natin yan bukas. So maraming salamat po sa mga sumama sa atin today. And of course, always keep the faith, keep the hope in your hearts and love for everyone. Have a good day, everybody. At magkaroon kayo sayang na ng masarap na tanghalian. Thank you very much. And regards to my family in Manila and Australia and America. Tsaka sa mga lakap po na nanonood. Have a good day. Thank you very much.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Streamcast Communicators. Hanggang sa muli. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much.